My Rohan, your dream was to be on The Amazing Race, but the first leg was kind of a nightmare for you guys. And things seemed to go wrong for you right from the start. You lost track of the teams and got lost. So what happened there after Phil said go?
So we ran out to the cars, and we read the clue, and that's where we really made our first fatal flaw for the day. We were at a hotel. We should have run back in and asked for a map at the hotel, but in the heat of the moment, it was literally right after he said go, adrenaline is pumping. We're probably a little bit more impulsive than we should have been, and we just decided to go. So we left and we stopped at a restaurant to ask for directions, and they kind of pointed us in the right direction, but we didn't have a firm sense of where exactly we had to go. So we um we were going in the direction, and then the the road signs in Puerto Vallarta are kind of interesting. Like I realized afterwards, like it just gives you like a list basically of like the places that like the road goes towards, and like
Mhm.
you follow it. We didn't catch on to that
Until it was too late.
until it was too late. But so then we saw that there was a shopping center, so we stopped at the shopping center to ask for directions
To try to
there.
get a map too.
Yeah. And there we were getting a lot of blank stares and people that I don't know if they understood what we were asking them, or they didn't understand, or they didn't know where the location was. So then we went to a gas station to try to get a map because we're super fans, like like you need a map to try and navigate. But the gas station we went to didn't have a map, and that's when we finally were able to switch who was driving. I went in the driver's seat, Maya was in the back, and we got to where we needed to go, and then
Fortunately.
that's when we got the car stuck.
Yeah, so it's good to know that you guys actually did try to stop and get a map and get directions because
Yeah.
the edit seemed like you didn't and you were just driving into
Oh no,
No.
we stopped. We
We
stopped
stopped like multiple
multiple
times.
times to try and get directions. Where
And at that point, like the first place we had stopped, was it Chris and Mar no, Krishma and Kashori. We had
yeah,
seen them there. So we had seen a couple of different teams while we had stopped originally on the first go about it. And then once we had finally gotten out of the car situation, like we had seen the teams that had just finished the detour and were running back to their cars or like running out. So we had seen teams along the way. It wasn't like we weren't seeing people.
hmm Well, when you left the starting line, were you guys like the first team out because you didn't stop at the hotel to ask for a map?
I don't think anybody stopped at the hotel to ask for a map or
Mhm.
get directions. Everybody was running out. Um, we were probably in the middle of the pack when we were
But you just like
leaving.
lost track of everyone else, so there was no one you could follow.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't necessarily want to follow
Mhm.
anyone else. Like we wanted to
It's
play our own
it's a
game.
blessing and a curse to follow someone. Like
Mhm.
as super fans, we've seen what happens. You follow someone and they get lost, so you get lost, or you we wanted to play our own race and go by our own navigation.
And even though it may not have seemed that way in the edit, we did want to find out where we are going. We did want to get a map, and we were asking for directions very actively.
Well, so let's talk about that street you were stuck in. I guess everyone is just wondering why didn't you just back up? It was so
Yeah.
narrow.
That's the
Let you
golden
start.
question. So when we got to when we got to where we had to go, so there were two streets that you could park on, and so it was street one, the alleyway,
Alleyway,
and then
street
street two.
two.
But we didn't realize that street two was, so we saw street one and we are like, oh, that's where we were supposed to park, not knowing that the other street we could park on was the next one. So we turned into the alley, and had I known that, we didn't know that they had those like that blockade down at the end of the street, and they were small, so you couldn't really see it until we got
All the
close
way
all the way
down.
down. So had we known those were there, of course I would have gotten out of the car and I would have stopped the traffic, and we would have backed out at the spot. But by the time we had gotten all the way down there, the street was really narrow. I think we are a little scared to back it up, so that's why I think we started to turn the car around. um
Obviously, that didn't work out the way we anticipated.
I was just like, how
Um,
did you get this sideways?
yeah. Yeah. Not our greatest moment. And there were about 15 to 20 people watching us too,
Laughing at us.
laughing at us. So we eventually got the car out, and yeah, we do identify that like backing it up probably would have been or
The
the
fastest
fastest route to get out of the car.
Mhm. It reminded me of the scene in Austin Powers when he's just like stuck and
Yep.
turning. That was like a 50-point turn.
Yeah, we haven't seen that movie, but I've like people have texted me that there's been a lot of comparisons to that movie today.
So how long do you estimate you wasted there just trying to turn the car around?
It's about 20 minutes. So
Yeah, it wasn't I don't think like for that situation it was like excessive, but it did waste 20 minutes.
So where was your mindset at that point? Because it was like you feel like you caught up and then now you just like
look, getting out of that alleyway gave us the biggest shoot of like okay, we can actually like do this. Like I thought that we were getting stuck when at that point where I'm completely like perpendicular with the road. I
Mhm.
thought Phil was gonna have to walk up and eliminate
Like
us right
mercy
there.
elimination, yeah.
Like that was, and I was like, we need to at least see the pit stop. We need to at least see the map.
Yeah.
So,
At that point it gave us an adrenaline. We're like, okay, we're gonna do what we can to ace these challenges and do what we can.
and we did. We did both of the challenges extremely fast. I would say it took us 15 minutes to do the detour, and that included running from the car and back those roads. Um, and we got to the roadblock, and Rohan killed the roadblock. Absolutely. I saw that roadblock, and I did not think he was going to do that well. So it was very, very exciting to see that. And I mean, at that point, like we had gotten, I would say, a little like we knew where we were going for the rodeo. But at the point where we had to get back, I knew exactly what road it was. I knew exactly where we needed to stop the car. I'd been down that road so many times that we didn't even have to stop for navigation. But at the end of the day, we had sat in so much traffic on that road on the
On the
drive
way
back.
specifically back
Mhm.
from the rodeo, there was a lot of heavy traffic.
Mhm.
And so knowing like, but we knew the navigation, so we didn't have to stop. So we knew we were neck and neck. When we just got to the rodeo, we were seeing Chris and Mary leave, and Rohan had taken under 10 minutes in the roadblock. And so I knew that like we were gonna be neck and neck. If they had to stop for navigation or if someone got lost, like we were gonna be right up there with them.
And we got to the pit stop right as they were walking away. So
Is that did you know then?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's when we knew that like we were probably in last place when we were watching them walk off the mat. So yeah, but so that was definitely like hurt a little bit, but we're so glad that we got this opportunity and we're so grateful for it.
Hmm. Were Chris and Mary the only team you saw the whole leg?
We had seen, let's see, we had seen Anthony and Bailey. We
Yeah.
saw Juan and Shane once when we stopped for directions. We had seen Karishma and Kishori right at the beginning when we were asking for navigation.
So when we had gotten to where the clue for the detour was, Anthony and Bailey and Amber and Vinny must have just finished the horse challenge.
Hmm.
So we saw them.
While we were running towards the detour, we had seen Juan and Shane
Yeah,
coming out.
Okay.
and then Chris and
So
Mary
Chris and
were
Mary
there.
were the only ones at the tasks that you saw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and we finished one like we had to watch the wrestling show one more time after they left.
Hmm. Yeah. Um, so did you guys know it was a mega leg during the
No, we
leg?
had no
No.
clue.
So how does it feel to get eliminated on a mega leg? Because I think a lot of viewers just assume, oh, it's a mega leg, so you guys are safe, you know.
Yeah, we had known that there would be an elimination because specifically in the
It
clue
said there will be, yeah.
it said Phil will be eliminating the last team at the mat, like that was printed in the clue. So we knew it was going to happen. I think, and there is precedent for it. On season 32, it was a keep on racing leg, and the last team also did get eliminated. So it has happened before.
Hmm. So you're not disappointed that it's, I mean, I guess you're disappointed, but it's,
I mean, we're
we would've
disappointed.
wanted
We
to
would
got
have wanted
eliminated.
to,
We
yeah.
wanted to keep going.
I think everyone assumes like, oh, it's a mega leg, so like they'll eliminate it after the second leg.
Yeah. And I do think there's a little bit of a learning curve with the race. I do think had we maybe gotten a map for the, if like we had continued on, like we would have done a lot
Look,
better.
as Rohan and I had so many plans set in place, and in the heat of the moment, and with the adrenaline going through you, it just, a lot of our plans had gone out the window on the day of. So it wasn't our day. Who knows what would have happened had we kept on going. We're just really grateful we got the opportunity that we did, and that our relationship was portrayed the way that it was on the show.
Yeah, like you guys said, like you guys didn't get snippy with each other, even though things were going so poorly.
Look, Rohan and I, we bicker all the time, and it was one of our goals going on the show that we could keep it calm, cool, and collected when we talk to one another, because we knew that if we started bickering with each other, we'd get annoyed, and then we wouldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, we're really glad that we got through the day, at least between the two of us, without arguing.
Yeah, after all of that, like you survived, you completed the leg. Some
Yes.
teams might not have, so.
Yeah, there's been teams before. We told we told Phil on the mat that like there's been teams before that haven't been able to finish that first leg. Like he's had to go and eliminate them, which is, yeah. So we made it through.
What surprised you the most, being super fans and, you each learned a different language just to go on the race. So what surprised you the most actually being part of it?
That's a good question.
I think it's harder than it looks is the biggest thing for us. I mean,
you watch the show and like the bulk of it is the challenges, and you can be really great at the challenges, but if you're struggling to get to and from where you're going, like that could be your downfall.
It's the navigation.
Yeah, there was a lot of navigation. And just like, it's such a wonderful program, but the producers and the people that put this show on really treat it so well and really make it a very special experience.
As super fans, we have so much love for the show, and just seeing that they have the same exact love for what they're doing, it really just made us so happy to be a part of it.
Awesome. Well, it was great seeing you guys just for one episode. And maybe they'll do like a second chances and you guys can come back.
Oh, in a heartbeat. We we always joke, like they call us, we'd be there tomorrow. Like,
they could do a whole season with just, the first teams eliminated. So
yeah, they've never done that before, so they can make history.
It was season 18, which was unfinished business.
Unfinished business, yeah.
That wasn't all like,
that wasn't, it was people, it was like a redemption season. But
we'd be there.
Yeah.
Well, it was great speaking to you. Thanks so much for your time. Have a great day.
Thank
you.